Hey, how are you today? This is Roland, PMI Realty Group, where we manage properties from an asset management perspective. And so today what I want to talk to you about is what you should do and what you should look for before you commit to a property management company. There are plenty of property management companies out there, and they all provide a different level of service. So you kind of have to understand what it is that you want in a property manager and what type of pain points you want them to work on and solve for you. For example, for us, we manage properties from an asset management perspective. And so we do things like look at your hard costs, like your taxes, your mortgage, your insurance, to reduce that as much as possible. And this is not a sales pitch. I'm just giving you an example of what we do, just because this topic is about what to look for in a property manager, right? So you need to know what it is that you're looking for. I'm giving you examples of what a property management company should offer or could offer, right? Another thing that we do is we provide $15,000 in capital expense fund. So if you had a hot water heater break, or if you needed to furnish a vacation rental, or your AC unit went out, and I had a client that just happened to this past week, and we were able to fund $8,000, over $8,000 to get all the repairs done at the home, and it didn't have to come out of their savings, to come out of their pocket. They're looking to buy another rental property, and they didn't want to impact their credit score, and they didn't want to impact their debt to income ratio. And so this helped greatly with that, because they don't have to go through a bank to get a loan to get those funds, right? And so different property management companies, like I said, do things differently. And so this talk that I'm giving you today is going to give you some ideas of questions that you should ask your property management company that you're working with, that you're vetting, to see if they're a good fit for you. And so let's get into it. And I'm going to tell you we're going to go through the first question. Let's just go to the next screen, right? And so the first question you should ask is, how long have you been in business? Now, this is not a crucially important question, because just because someone isn't in the business for a long period of time doesn't mean that they don't have the experience, right? Like, for example, before I started managing properties professionally for other people, I used to manage my own properties that I had, right? I had a small building that I owned in several single family homes. And so just getting an overall sense of their understanding of property management should be good, especially if they're an investor and they've been doing it for a while. Even if their business is sort of young, that shouldn't really play into it. Them having the knowledge is more important than how long they've actually been in in the business, managing properties for other people. But make sure they have some type of understanding of what they're doing. If they do, they will have a track record, either for themselves or managing properties for other people. And it's okay to give someone new a try, right? Just understanding that they are new in the business, and maybe they should give you a discounted rate, a very discounted rate, for them cutting their teeth on, your property and working with you, right? Because they may learn more from you than you learn from them. So the first thing is, do definitely get some idea of how long they've been in the business, because that definitely will help. The second thing you want to find out is, how many rental property investors do they have as clients? The reason why this is important, right? Because you don't want to be with a property manager that has no time for you or your property or your tenants, right? What I say is, I tell all my owners, we have a 4-hour turnaround on calls, email, or text, or we'll waive 1 month's management fee. And we're going to talk about that in another section a little bit later. But essentially what I'm doing with that, right? I'm giving myself some accountability so that I make sure that I'm engaging with my owners when they need me, right? They're not waiting weeks or months to hear back from me to answer a simple question. And so making sure that the property manager that you want to work with has time. And even if they don't have time, they make time to engage and communicate with you as necessary. That's very important. So understand the size of their portfolio, how many clients that they have, will definitely help you gauge if they will have time for you. But even if they have a lot of clients, find out how they make sure that they will make time for you. And if they can show you how they can make sure they have time for you, it doesn't matter how many clients they have, they would probably be a good fit for you to work with. So the third question you should ask is, what type of rental properties do you have direct experience managing? Now, they can have, just one set, they can have multiple sets. And, this is one of those questions where it could mean something depending if you're looking for something specific, right? So like, let's say if you are a syndication, you have a syndication and you want someone to manage a 300 unit building, right? And this person has only managed single family homes and never managed any multifamily at all. Managing, a multifamily property can be very different because you have employees on site, and there's a lot of different things that's going on. So unless this person is professionally trained as a property manager, which I am, right? I'm a part of NARPM. I spend thousands of dollars a year on my education and training. I spend thousands of dollars a year on my systems. So a person like me, even though I don't have a 300 unit building that I'm currently managing now, for me to onboard a 300 unit building and scale that and be able to quickly turn that around wouldn't be as difficult because I'm in the business where I am constantly getting trained on how to do property management a certain way. If someone's just starting out, giving them a 300 unit building may not be the best idea, right? So getting an idea of what they are comfortable doing, getting an idea of what they've done in the past, the type of family, the type of properties that they've managed in the past will definitely help gauge and provide you insight on whether they'll be able to handle your portfolio. But if you just have a single family residential property and it's just one property, you can work with someone that's pretty new in the business. Because if you have a multifamily portfolio worth millions with a lot of different moving parts, then you want someone with a little bit more experience to help you with that. The fourth question is, do you offer any property management guarantees? So as I stated earlier, one of the things that I do to make sure that I'm held to account is waiving 1 month's management fee if we don't meet our SLAs, right? And one of the guarantees that we have is that once we agree on a price for the property and I think that the property is in good enough condition to rent for that price, if I don't meet that SLA, I'll waive 1 month's management fee, right? And so it's important that you work with property management companies that are able to offer guarantees, reasonable guarantees, because that will then let you know what type of accountability that they hold for themselves. And if they can hold themselves accountable and put their money where their mouth is, then they're a good property management partner to work with. And so another question is, what are your average turnover rates and cost of vacancies? Now, you want to make sure you understand, are tenants running away, from this particular property manager? Are they able to get your tenant, your property rented quickly? For the most part, I would say that our turnover rates are very low, right? We keep our tenants for a fairly long time, and our owners as well. There's some properties that we try to fill vacancies and it's taken a little longer than we've expected. And so I would say overall, if someone has a pretty good rate and turnover rates, meaning they have very low turnover rates, you should definitely give them a try. And if they do have some properties with higher turnover rates, ask them to extend it. Maybe there's a reasonable explanation, right? But definitely ask the question because it's going to answer a lot of other questions that you may have in your mind as well. Then you want to ask, what do they have in their technology stack? I have a property management software. I have probably tens of software that I use to help manage my portfolio. And my portfolio is not that big, but I have several different key property management systems. Actually, I'm in I do vacation rentals, I do HOAs, and I also manage long-term rentals. And I have a property management software for each. Not only do I have a property management software for each, I have subsystems, separate subsystems that I use to make those tools more efficient. So I spend thousands of dollars to make sure I have a strong technology stack to be able to be efficient and provide results for my owners. And so definitely ask what software do they use, and they should be able to tell you. And if they have multiple software, like for syndication and other digital platforms, definitely ask about that, because that's going to give you an understanding if they're going to be able to handle managing your property at the highest level. And the last point is what are their preferred methods of communication or frequency? And so I think communication is key, right? Email, text, phone calls are always welcome. I even give my owners a calendar invite where they can put a meeting on my calendar at any time they want. Most of them don't use it, but you have to make yourself available for the owner as a property manager, and definitely check and engage with that property manager and find out how they like to communicate and how often they communicate, because that's going to give you a good sense of if they're going to be able to make calls or make time for you. Now, before you make your official rental property management decision, call and ask us these questions. We can help you improve your current investment position and leverage all the best strategies. We explore the latest rental investment trends in the Tampa, Florida market. If this particular subject sparks growing interest in learning more about how to improve your overall investment experience, sign up for our free webinar. Discover fresh strategies with this must-watch webinar that features insights about how to streamline your rental portfolio for maximum growth. Every Tampa area investor will find something relevant and informative to take away. Don't forget too, you can find readily available answers to your most pressing rental questions in our Facebook group. There, you'll feel free to engage with other rental property owners looking to achieve similar ROI goals. Exchange ideas and talks about similar challenges with other rental property investing professionals. And should you have unique questions that may require more in-depth tailored solutions, schedule a meeting on my calendar and let's discuss. You can reach me directly at rcharles@pmijcmrealty.com for my email. You can reach me by phone at 813-333-9617. And of course, you can always put a meeting on my calendar and also go to my website at pmijcmrealty.com. Thank you.